Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi. My name is Shannon. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes. But while everyone is having breakfast, I want to do a quick sustainability reminder. I'm going to do a little quiz today. So if you know the answer, please shout it out loud. Okay, we want to make sure that we are sorting our waste properly. We have a campus goal of reducing waste by 2025, and it's 2025, so that means we better get this right. Okay, so I'm gonna hold up some of these items. Please shout out how you sort them in the waste bin. Recycle, good job. Okay. Okay, compost. See, I'm glad Julie's right in front of me so I don't screw this up. Okay. This goes in the landfill. How about little ketchup packet? Landfill. Okay, how about plate with food on it? Compost. Okay, everybody wins. That's my little spiel for right now. Okay, we'll get started in just a few minutes, okay? Okay, Julie wants me to throw out napkin. Where does the napkin go? Compost. Nice job. All right, I'm back. It's time to get started. So we're going to get started with our land acknowledgement. Let's see if I can do this clicker. Oh, well, we already know all this, right? Just a quick reminder of where everything goes. Here's our agenda for today. Land acknowledgement, like I said, then we're going to do some new employee introductions. We'll have Leon come up and speak with us. And then we have two really great presentations, one from Deanne from the corporation, and one from Frank and Tracy, our new facility dog. And then we have our awards and door prizes. Okay, well, let's see. Do we have the land acknowledgement? There we go.
We acknowledge that the land on which we gather here is the traditional territory of the Luiseño Payacuichan people.
Today, the meeting place of CSUSM and its surrounding areas is still home to the 6 federally recognized bands of the La Jolla, Paula, Palma Pachanga, Rincon, Saboba, Luiseño Payacuichan people. It is also important to acknowledge that this land remains a shared space
Among the Cupeño, Kumeyaay, and Ipai peoples.
CSUSM has long-standing mutual beneficial relationships with the local tribal communities in San Diego,
which has 18 federally recognized reservations, home to more than any county in the United States.
I hope that you can take this opportunity to learn more about the local indigenous people from the region during your time here. Welcome to CSUSM.
Okay. Let's go ahead with our new employees. So if you are a new employee or you are the manager of a new employee, please stand up and we're going to go around the room and introduce each other. Lucky ducks. So if you're the manager, please say your name and where you work and then introduce your new employee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Hinojosa. I'm the Associate Executive Director for Human Resources and Payroll for the CSUSM Corporation. And it is my pleasure to introduce Messiah Reed. Messiah Reed. She just started last month as the corporation payroll and HR assistant in our department. And Messiah has a very broad background in payroll and HR, and she is a proud Mission Hills High School band parent and has served the last 4 years on the band board of director, and so some of you may recognize her. She does know quite a few faculty members who have their children there in the band, and she's happy to be graduating with her son this year, graduating from the band responsibilities.
Junior's next.
Thank you. My name is Humberto Garcia Jr. I work with Safety Health Sustainability as Assistant Director, and we have 2 new employees. I call them new old employees. First to my right here is Marion Peralta. His name's misspelled up there. But Marion was a former student and a student assistant of ours 6, 7 years ago. And graduated from here, got his master's over at industrial hygiene over at UCLA, did his student his internship here. Went out to the world, came back 3 years later, so we're very excited to have Marion back. And then Victor, to my right, he comes from the C-STEM world, also a former student, and they stole him, we stole him back just recently, so I think about 1 month in and maybe about 5 months in on Victor, so welcome him to our group.
Morning, everyone. I'm very happy to announce that we have recently had Valerie Ramirez join our group at CSUSM Corporation as our Business Operations Coordinator. And Val's a CSUSM alum, and she has many years of administrative and operations experience, most recently here on campus with our C-Tree group. And fun fact about Val is she loves music, and including playing many instruments by ear. Okay.
Belinda Garcia from Parking and Commuter Services, and I'm happy to introduce Bobby DeSisto. He's an hourly parking officer with our department. He's a lifelong resident of North County and a graduate of Vista High School. He says he's happy to be here so far.
Let's see.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Rocio Terry with the Crisis Response Team. We have Anna Marie Lopez, who is with the Crisis Response Team as a specialist. Anna is double alumni from CSUSM with undergrad degree and then also a master's in social work. Anna enjoys cross-stitching, see that 3 times fast, and camping. So if anyone wants to go glamping, call Anna.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias. I have the pleasure of introducing Lieutenant Mihaela Kennedy, who's not here today. She's at training. Fun fact about her, she's actually from Romania, so she's first generation, and she's an alum from Cal State Fullerton. And she's also a retiree from Orange County Sheriff's. So thank you.
Good morning, everybody. No, I'm not going to beatbox today. So if you were planning on that, I apologize. And if you don't know what that means, you missed out. You missed out big time. Okay, so I'm Lieutenant Ray Bada at UPD. I have the honor to introduce Alexandria Flores to my right. She is a retiree, a retired sergeant from Orange County Sheriff's Department. I actually worked with her back there. So after 23 years, she came to us, and we're honored to have her. Fun fact about her, she at one point was in a music video dancing for Kelly Clarkson. So, yeah. So, anyway, I also have the honor to introduce 2 other people who are not here today due to scheduling and working nights, etc. Sierra Hill, she is a new dispatcher with us. She's actually a student of ours as well. She's in a criminology major. And a fun fact about her is that she skydives. So if you have ever have interest in that, she'd love to talk about that. Our next one is Ethan Lowry. He's one of our young officers that just got off training, so congratulate him if you see him. He came from the San Diego County Sheriff's Office. So we're honored and thrilled to have all this experience and coming over to our agency. So thank you.
All right, I'm going to do Jason, then Victor. I know. I'm getting a lot of steps today.
Thank you. I'm Jason Drake with Student Financial Services. It's my pleasure to introduce Jessica Bledsoe. She's the newest member of our Student Financial Services team as a business analyst, which means she's a PeopleSoft wizard with probably about 20 years worth of PeopleSoft experience. She's a Colorado University grad. And fun fact, during COVID, Jessica and her family in a vehicle, right, drove through all 48 contiguous states and visited all of them. And surprisingly, and completely unrelated to me, she said Kansas was her favorite. So.
I had a lot of favorites.
Ten minutes later.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victor Chavez. I'm Assistant Director for Labor's Grounds and Custodians. We have 4 new employees over on our 3rd shift. One of them is Vicente Maldonado, the other one, Brenda Chamu, Francisco Arias, and Jacob Thomas. So, thank these people.
Thank you. Welcome to all of our new employees. Okay, if you are a virtual participant, please send all questions to Amber Jackalune, lucky gal. Okay, next, time to hear it from Leon. And I want to remind all of our presenters today to please speak into the microphone, even if you have a loud voice, for accessibility reasons.
Thank you. Do I have to take the stage or no? Oh, okay. Well, just because I have a book with remarks in it, I should probably have a place to put them down. Okay. Welcome, everyone. It is always wonderful. I mean, I love this event. I think we're probably one of the few divisions that actually has an event like this. And I think it's just critical that we all get together from time to time and have an opportunity to at least see each other and talk to each other. And I have to apologize. You know, the president drug me into a meeting and I was late, because normally I like to get here early so I have the opportunity to at least see everybody and shake hands and talk to everyone. And I just want to acknowledge the fine work that you guys do every day, because I know that it has been a difficult year, and we're going to have some challenges coming up. So with that, I'm going to try and stick to my prepared remarks, which is hard, but I'll do my best. But I want to thank all of you guys again for coming. I want to thank the folks that, we did have breakfast, right? Oh, excellent. Okay, I want to thank the folks that prepared the breakfast, because, you know, they're some of our unsung heroes that do a lot of work for us here, and we're grateful. So I want to thank you all for joining today. You know, I mean, I appreciate the dedication, you know, because we're navigating some really interesting times. So as many of you are aware, we're facing some significant budget constraints this year. You know, as shared during our last open forum in February, and there's another one coming up on Thursday, so I'm going to say that now. I'm going to say it again at the end. I'd like as many people to participate as they can. There'll be much more information in that. So we talked about bracing for an 8% cut from the state with the deferral of our compact. Now, for those of you who don't remember what our compact is, the governor committed to 5% ongoing base funding for UC and CSU over 5 years. Our compact for next year, that's 25-26, has been deferred to 27-28. So that 262, or I think it's $262 million that would have come to CSU has been deferred for another year. So that's where we kind of are with the compact. There is still 26, 27 is the last year of the compact, and the state so far has been silent on that. So we don't really know what's happening with 26, 27, but I just want you guys to know that this is kind of where we find ourselves. So, you know, the financial strain, you know, on CSU is largely driven by our mandatory costs. These are things that we can't control. I mean, utility costs have gone crazy. Everyone knows that insurance costs is like just gone through the roof, pretty much for all residential properties, but that's affecting commercial properties as well. So we are all paying more for those types of things. Healthcare costs and benefit costs have been skyrocketing right along with the insurance costs. So these are things that we pay for people. We're happy we're struggling to make sure we can do that, but we have to make sure that these are costs that we must cover, no matter what. So that has to kind of come off the top. So that's what our financial strain is about, and the compact was designed to help cover some of those inflating costs. So with the compact being deferred, we're gonna have to cover that through some other ways. So as campus, you know, we have kind of started on a cost-saving measure process. Most of you guys are familiar with the Voluntary Separation Incentive Program that we're affectionately calling the VSIP program for eligible employees. That program and the outcome of it, I'm going to talk about more on Thursday when we present the budget to the overall campus. So all the applications are in. The agreements went out this past Friday. We'll see what comes back from that. Everyone who has decided to take advantage of that program has 14 days to sign those agreements. So we'll know more about that in about 14 days. So, you know, our division has already done several things. You know, we've been limiting our travel to essential trips. You know, we've kind of paused our hiring and minimized our operational expenses where feasible. You know, which has helped contribute to the set-aside that we have. We have a set-aside that we did for this year to help us, and that set-aside will continue next year. So we invite all of you to our next campus forum. Already told you it's May 1st. It's at 3 o'clock, which is this coming Thursday. Okay, this coming Thursday. There'll be an email sent out with a Zoom link, and if you can't attend, you know, it'll be recorded and it'll be on the budget website. So I encourage everybody, if you can't listen in, at least take the time to hear what we're talking about on the budget website and on the recorded process. So the next thing I want to talk about a little bit is about uncertainty. Where we find ourselves is, we're in the impact of uncertainty. It's related to like our enrollment figures, our funding, external factors like political changes, and there's been a lot of uproar and things coming out of the new administration in Washington that has contributed to a lot of that uncertainty. So it's essential that we stay adaptable and resilient. We're closely monitoring enrollment trends and updating our budget projections accordingly. But early indications for our enrollment growth are positive. Our applications are up, our admitteds are up, and they're actually up a little bit more than they were last year. So we are still fortunate to be one of the campuses that are growing. That may not last forever, but for now, that's good news for us. It's less good news for some of our northern campuses, but the southern campuses seem to be doing better for the moment. But there is still a demographic decline in the state of California that has not rolled its way all the way down to Southern California, but our northern campuses are feeling it already. So unfortunately, we've had, CSUSM has had several grants from the NIH and NSF terminated, which has been another issue. For some of those grants, we've been able, if there were students on them, we've been able to, through our foundation and through some of just digging up funds, to continue paying those students at least through the semester. So we've done that. So far, we haven't been hit nearly as hard as some of our other sister institutions have. UC has been hit very hard, and some of our other campuses have been hit very hard. As far as international students go, there have been visas that have been canceled, and many of those have been restored through the justice process. But our campus has not had any of that. None of our students have been impacted by that, but that's not to say that they won't. But for the time being, most of those students whose visas were impacted have been restored. So additionally, we continue to advocate at the federal level and at the state level for more funding for the CSU. The CSU is an investment. It's not an expense to be just crossed out on the state budget. There's long-term impact to reducing funding for the CSU because we develop the workforce for the future. Our students are the future electrical engineers and software engineers that this county and our California sorely needs. So we need to focus on making sure that the students that we get in, we get through the process. So we've had an opportunity, I went along with the president, we went to Sacramento, spent some time advocating there, 2 days. Then we spent a full week in Washington, D.C., talking to our congressmen and our senators and some of the agencies advocating for additional funding and protection of our grants and our research projects across not only CSU, but across higher education across the nation. Congressman Peters, he had led a letter calling on the Trump administration to refrain from cutting NIH funding for California universities. That's been one of the good things that has happened that came out of that trip. So, we met several congressmen, senators, they're just as concerned about higher education as we are. But while the elite higher education institutions, the Harvards, the Yales, the Princetons, the Cornells, they're not popular right now. But regional institutions like ours are much better positioned in their communities in terms of impact. We have a huge impact on the San Marcos area and San Diego County. And our partnerships and connections, we just need to double down on that goodwill and try and make sure that our representatives in Sacramento and in Washington, D.C. understand, what the impact is of reducing, continue to reduce funding and impacting higher education, especially the regional publics, because we're all community-based. So our conversations and our advocacy, they're going to continue in all of our spaces. And that includes all of you, sharing with your family, friends, neighbors, just letting them know what's going on, with the CSU and how they can support by, reaching out to our legislators, reaching out to our folks in Washington, and and expressing their concern about what happens if something happens to the CSU. So on a more positive note, I want to talk about our capital projects, because our capital projects are progressing. We're really doing well. So, we continue. You guys can see university housing, dining project, construction is well underway. The building, we topped off the building here just 2 months ago. 2 months ago, the building was topped off, and now, the glazing, the glass is going in, and they're doing a lot of interior work. That building is we're on schedule to open that in the summer of 2026. So there'll be 550 more beds for our students, and that's a great thing. We continue to work on our wellness and recreation center. The student fee for that was approved by our students. So we're working with our partners at North City to make sure that we can get that going. We've got documents up at the Chancellor's office right now. Once we get that approved from them, we're going to be ready to pretty much move forward on that project as well. That Wellness and Recreation Center will be on the bottom 2 floors of probably an 11-story tall residence hall that will add approximately 930 beds additional to the 550 that we're opening. And that project right now is scheduled to open in the fall of 27. So we'll have another 14, almost 1,500 beds additional over the next 2 years. So we also need to prepare for that because this will make us a much more residential campus. And with residency and more students on campus, we need to have more activities. We're going to need to make sure that our students are safe. It's going to require more of this and more of that because we're going to have, it's just going to be a different type of campus going forward. We're going to be more like some of our more residential CSUs. So I think it's really going to be exciting. So the Wellness and Rec Center is coming on, and the Wellness Center will help with that. So we're also planning to break ground this summer on the Integrated Science and Engineering building. That's coming in the summer of 2025. So here over the next couple of months, we'll be fencing off that area and starting to move equipment and getting ready to launch that building to break ground. And I'm sure there'll be a big ceremony in that regard. So we're also adding, for accessibility, we're adding new elevators to Science 1 and the Arts building. Those buildings only have one elevator, and it doesn't have any redundancy. That's a problem for accessibility if one of them goes down. So we're adding an elevator to each one of those structures. And finally, as many of you know, we're upgrading the HVAC system in the administrative building over the summer. That's going to cause us we're going to have to remove everybody from that building for the month of July. And we're working on where everyone is going to go. And they're starting to place people, either in places in the library, places in the EL building, and the housing has been kind enough to let us use one of the wings of UVA for housing our staff or hoteling them for that time frame. So we're working on that. So, for those of you that are impacted, by that, I'm asking for your collaboration, your patience. We're going to try and get through this as quickly as we can. It's just one of those things that has to be done. The Chancellor's office has given us almost $12 million to do this work, and if we don't get it done, they'll just take the money and give it to somebody else. So we need to make sure that we get this done, because I definitely do not like giving money back. So lastly, I just want to again express my heartfelt appreciation for all of you. Your commitment and hard work is the backbone of CSUSM. Many of our areas are the unsung heroes. We're basically back office. Some of us have direct contact with students, but we keep the university running. We keep the electrical. We make sure the lights come on. We make sure that the toilets flush. We make sure that the internet runs. We make sure that the software is available that people need. And we hear about it when it doesn't work right. but we don't really hear a lot about it just day to day. So I want to just thank everybody here, because I think what we do is critical, and without us and without this team, the university wouldn't be able to operate. So for that, thank you guys very much. Let's continue to work together for these challenges. I have a few thank yous that I want to put out for the folks who put this together. I need to thank Shannon. Shannon basically puts this thing together for us. Can we have a round of applause for Shannon? She worked so hard putting this thing together. And Amber, I don't know where you are, but Amber is, she's our office's right hand, and generally helps us out so much. And Brittany stays in the background nowadays, but she does have an opinion, as you can imagine, about how this thing operates. So again, thank you guys, very much. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And thank you very much.
Okay, now I'm excited to introduce our first speaker, Deanne Ellison. She is our executive director of the corporation, as well as associate vice president of business development. So come on up. Which microphone? Okay, let's make sure it works. Yeah, I'm going to turn this off.
Yeah, good. All right. As Shannon said, my name is Deanne Ellison. I'm the, ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, we love the new clicker. Thank you very much. I am the executive director of the CSUSM Corporation and associate vice president of business development for the campus. I wanted to expand on some things that Leon was talking about. We have so much great work going on here. Sometimes it's eclipsed by the setbacks that we're feeling, but when the vice president asks you to share some good news, you find all the good news you can find, and you share it with your division. So I am really pleased to be here today to share some good news. And it says, I have the advantage of working for the corporation, but the reality is, and I want everyone to hear this very clearly, we are all in this together. There is nothing that the corporation does that is not lifted by every member of this organization. When I talk about new housing projects, we have to, talk about FDM's involvement. We have to talk about procurement's involvement. It just goes on and on and on. So as we go through each of these projects, I'm going to ask the people who had a hand in bringing the success to our division and to our university, I'm going to have you at least raise your hand so everyone in the room can see that you also worked on all of these projects. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about a little bit is our the auxiliary. Many of you may already know, and some of you have already heard me say this, but the auxiliary is like a PTA attached to a state school, a state elementary school. If everybody gets that reference, the PTA is the one that comes up with some of the extra funding and has the bake sales and the clothing drives and the book fairs. We're the ones who raise money for the playground equipment and those kinds of things. So if you think of our auxiliary attached to this university, it's the same thing. We are raising additional funds to be able to support the university and the mission of the university. We're, oh, someone's calling. Okay. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit is our auxiliary. The purpose of the auxiliary to the CSUSM campus is that we enhance budgetary flexibility, we manage risk and exposure, we shield against liability, and we increase investment opportunities, and you're going to see a lot of that in the next couple of slides. So I wanted to talk also a little bit about the CSUSM Corporation. We do a lot of different things, and we're going to talk about some specific things, but I do want to call out our Office of Sponsored Projects. Leon talked a little bit, woohoo, thank you. That's right, thank you, Gina. Leon talked a little bit about some of the NIH grants and the grants that are, we're in a little bit of trouble. I want to shout out to the OSP, who are daily reporting to the Chancellor's office things that are happening and how our campus is going to respond and how we're going to rally. So I want to appreciate that. I also want to talk about human resources and payroll services. Many of you don't know that we have over 350 employees and many of them are through sponsor projects, so they kind of come in and out of employment. We do a lot of good work, supported of course by Campus HR, who are great partners and making sure that we're wildly successful. We also have business operations and finance, so we've got a little tiny FAS in our corporation who does all the good work and supported again by business services and all of our colleagues. We also manage contracts and agreements and real estate and facilities management. And oddly, and many of you have also heard me say this, some of these operations are, a gang of 6 or a gang of 1, right? So real estate and facilities management is Thomas Fontaine. But, we're small but mighty. I'm going to go on to student housing and summer conferences and commercial partners because that is really where most of our growth is. Okay. So, talking about commercial services, pouring rights, many of you know that we're a Pepsi campus, and Pepsi donates back to the campus not just through this contract, but also scholarships. They donate funding for emergency for students. I mean, there are a number of things that happen through our pouring rights contract. Dining, of course, is Sodexo, and they've been really great partners. We're going to talk about some of that. Our child care right now is provided by KinderCare, but that's out to RFP, so again, growth mindset. Our catering, let's see, we have a number of caterers that assist us, and I know you all have been through those processes. We're trying to make it a little bit easier on everyone. Print and delivery is FedEx, vending is first class vending, licensing and trademarks, if you don't know that that's also something that we do to contribute to the campus. We have also applied for and received an alcohol license. So Sodexo now can provide alcohol on campus, which we need a shout out for that. We have recently awarded our banking contract, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. And we also manage the bookstore through Follett. So, many of you may already know, this past fall we put out RFP for banking, and what we're doing with our banking contract going forward is we used to have an ATM. It was Wells Fargo. It was located in this building. We got a call one day saying, hey, we're going to pull the ATM. I said, what are you going to do in its place? And they said, we don't know. You're on your own. I said, okay, let's have a banking contract then. PNC is one of 3 major banks or credit unions that bid this process. We came up with PNC. We're about to ink that deal. What they're providing us is pretty special, and I wanted to share with you. They are going to put 2 ATMs on campus, but they're also giving back in so many ways because they're creating financial literacy paradigms for our students. So we are going to work very closely with orientation and with student and family programs and all of the leadership through students to make sure that our students have financial literacy background and opportunities to learn. We're going to be working with SFS on that project to make sure that our students have everything they need. Okay, here's another one. All of these are big ideas that are supported, of course, through the entire division. We have been kind of walking through the campus, talking to different constituencies about a new proposal for our bookstore contract. So our bookstore contract actually comes up this coming summer. This fall, we're going to be putting out an RFP. What we're likely to do is we are going to separate the fan store from the course materials, and we have this big idea about providing inclusive access for the delivery of those course materials. Come on now. There we go. So you may or may not know that 96% of students, they know which textbooks they need, but they feel as though they can't afford them. So, and they are they don't normally have them for the first day of class. 60% wait until class starts before buying or renting course materials. 65% did not purchase a college textbook due to cost. And finally, 95% knew that they would suffer academically for not purchasing a textbook. We're going to correct that. So the challenge of course material affordability is that there are rising costs. Textbook spending is going down because students are having to choose between the equally important, but they're making very difficult decisions around how they are going to spend the money that should go to textbooks. And finally, there's an academic impact because they're making these decisions knowing that they could be jeopardizing their class. So we are going to introduce an inclusive access model. The course materials will be included in their student fee bill and will be eligible for financial aid. So that's kind of miraculous in and of itself. The required textbooks will be delivered to students before or on the first day of class. The digital options will all be there, but we can also deliver a physical textbook if that's what they want. The material is included with ebooks, courseware, open education resource, which are free materials to students, and also faculty content. So the faculty are going to get to put whatever they want into this operation. The students are able to opt out of it, and the success is already documented. I mean, this has been going on for several years. Our campus is new to the process, but we have seen such success in student course completions. So here's some real courses and real savings. I'm gonna let it speak for itself. I will call to your attention the top one. Right now, the price is, and that's the price even if they go to Chegg or to Amazon to purchase the material, and these are not inflated prices at our bookstore. These are the prices that we competitively match. If we have 50 students enrolled in the top class, the inclusive access price is less than half of what they would have spent at the bookstore because it goes directly onto their learning management system. So you can see the savings is about $300 just for that textbook. And then you see it on the right adding up. Okay, I'm moving on because we got a lot to talk about. How many of you are familiar with Starbucks moving to the USU? How many had a hand in that project? Yes, all the people. That's what I'm saying. So we're moving the Starbucks from the Kellogg Library to the 4th floor of the USU. And we're going to have expanded ability, right, to serve more people more expediently. We're going to have mobile ordering. Very exciting. That project should wrap up, and Starbucks will be ready by this fall. And we're going to backfill it because that's the next one. Well, you probably want to see what it looks like. Oh, okay. Yeah. So these are the renderings of the new Starbucks. So if you can picture it on the 4th floor of the USU, that's where it's going to be. So we are going to backfill it, and we're going to backfill it with Shake Smart. Yay! I know. Yay! Good. Okay. So for those of you who don't know the backstory on Shake Smart, that Shake Smart was actually developed by 2 San Diego State students several years ago. And they developed it while they were students. So this is student entrepreneurial endeavor. They have been at this for several years. They've got 3 of these on the San Diego State campus now and have expanded. So about 4 years ago, I brought them to Binghamton, New York because I was so impressed by these people. And now we have an opportunity to work with them again. So they'll be backfilling the Kellogg Library location. Oh, and so they'll be ready by spring by September 15th of this fall. So all of that is going to change very, very quickly. I'm going to pivot now to student housing. So Leon talked a little bit about university, let's see, what we're building, University Village Housing and Dining, the one second to the right, and Block F, Wellness and Rec Center. But I wanted to talk a little bit about how that fits into our growth mindset and our paradigm. University Village Apartments were the original ones. The Quad is an affiliation agreement with North City. North Commons is also an affiliation. We've been renting or subletting Block C apartments because we have been burgeoning at the seams and needed more spaces for students. But as you know, University Village Housing and Dining is scheduled to open in fall of 2026. That will bring us an additional 550 students living on campus. And then in fall of 27, we're hoping to open what we're affectionately calling Block F. We know we can't keep that name because that's bad academically. We can't say Block F. But whatever we call that, that is supposed to be opening in fall of 2027. And it went from 550 bed spaces originally, and now we're up to 930, which has taken a pivot, but we're ready. So this, if you haven't seen this rendering, is the University UVHD project. And again, you know, let's raise hands if you have had anything whatsoever to do with this project. All of FDM should be raising your hands, right? Yeah, most of the room, yes. Leon, you have also, yes. Good. So we're really excited for that project. You're seeing it under construction as we speak. It's going very, very well. This is a little closer look at it. One of the things that we're really tickled about in this particular project is it also will give us a 10,000 square foot dining facility. And that it's much needed. Right now, the Campus Way Cafe has an all-you-can-eat swipe program, right? And so students are able to go in there from 7 to 9 in the morning, from 11 to 2 in the afternoon, and then 5 to 7 in the evening. Because it's an all-you-can-eat, they get kicked out between meal periods. And we find that our students, on occasion, will have to make a decision about going to class and missing a meal, or missing class to make sure that they get their dinner that night. So we have, with this project, we got the opportunity to rethink how we're going to provide dining for our students. So we're going to be going to the declining balanced meal plan, which we think is going to create greater success for our students. Okay, come on. Okay, so trends of the declining balanced meal plan. What we know about this, what it is, let's say, for example, that a meal plan costs $200, right? So 100 of that, half of it will be kept aside for administrative costs. That's keeping the lights on, that's personnel, that's all the infrastructure costs. The rest of that $200 will be put on a declining balance debit card for students, and they'll pay real cost for their meals. So a $5 burger will cost them $1.60, for example, right? So what we know about this plan is that it gives students agency. It teaches them responsibility and budgeting. We also know that the students learn how to manage their allergen concerns because they have more agency in what they're purchasing. It does reduce food waste. Students are not charged for being in the facility, so they can go in with their friends and hang out, and if somebody wants something to eat, they run in and grab it and pay for it and walk out and eat with their friends. So we think that it creates more community also. And finally, the data suggests that it's a decline in disordered eating, which is always something that we're very cognizant of. It's also sustainable because it leads to it lends itself to reusable containers. So we're going to be going with the Aussie program. It ensures students, they're in the driver's seat is really the main point of all of this. And their dining dollars can be used to make contributions to the Cougar Food Pantry if they have extra dollars. So we're pretty excited about that program. Okay, I'm going to deep dive also. into the Wellness and Rec facility. So I know you know, we're back to Block F, and the Wellness and Rec facility. What happened was on this campus, many of you know, we had a student referendum this past fall. We were ecstatic to get a 70% approval for building the Wellness and Rec Center. So students saw the wisdom of creating a legacy for new students. You know, many of the students who voted for it won't see it, but we know that we're building legacy and character in our students. So we had the vote, we got it passed, so this is a go. I'm trying to give you some more pictures of what's happening, and I'll let you look at that. But some of the highlights are the e-gaming and the cardio floors and the multi-use areas for classes, and outdoor pursuits will be there. But the students also asked, this was their big ask, that it include wellness and there's some sort of basic needs attention. And so we made sure that all of that was in this design. I think that's also one of the great selling points of this project. How many of you have worked on this project? Raise hands. Yes, sir. Good, 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 good. Okay, so this is what the top of it is gonna look like. There's a court up there, and so we're gonna be able to get some sunshine, which is awesome. And this is the Wellness Resource and Counseling Services. So we're gonna create some satellite opportunities to make sure that the students fully understand that wellness is part of Campus Rec. And this is what it'll look like on the outside. So I want to talk a little bit about the future, because this is not by a long shot is this all we're working on or all that's going to happen in the next couple of years. Many of you have seen the project that's happening right next to the ELB. That's 222 North City. That will be 420 rental apartments for, it's not student housing, it's for grown-ups, but yeah, so, but it's exciting to have all of that new growth and that vitality in North City that, and it all flows into the campus. You see Block F Phase A, which will tell you that there's going to be a Phase B if we can figure out what our demand is. You'll see that there's more housing and commercial going to happen to the right of the screen. I'll give you some insider baseball. The grocery retail. I heard Trader Joe's. Good. All right, so I just want to thank everyone in the entire room for everything that you have done to support all the crazy things that we're doing. I did look up in the dictionary the definition of progress. I know that in moments we feel as though we're experiencing some setbacks, but I think the word progress and knowing that we are still doing the work, we are still moving forward, we're still accepting applications, we're still growing this community, it means to move forward, to develop to a higher, better, or more advanced stage. We, like Leon said, we had the highest number of applications in our university's history. So we're building for that growth. We need to ensure that the infrastructure will be there to meet the mission of the university with the same or better level of care for which we have become known. So I'm gonna put your eye on the prize here. All of you know that that the Olympics are coming to LA in 2028. We are likely a campus that would be tapped to house athletes and those sort, people who are supporting the endeavor, because, LA is just a stone's throw away. So, right, and so just for the record, the residence halls are spoken for in summer of 28. Thank you.
All right, our next presenter is Tracy Daly and Frank the facility dog. They're coming on up right now.
I'm feeling a little short. Maybe I will take the handheld. Okay. All right. Thank you. Are we on? Good morning. Frank, are you ready? High five. All right. Good boy, buddy. All right. Good morning. My name is Tracy Daly, and this is Frank. He's going to sit and lay in a moment, but he just wants to get accustomed to his little spot here. So I've been asked, I was asked in January to come and speak with you today. So I'm so excited to be here. We are so excited to be here. This is a labor of love and has taken me a year and a half to get this guy here. So we're going to talk about Frank, why he's here, and what he can do for our campus. So a lot of people will ask, what is the difference? Frank is a facility dog and a therapy dog. Boy. Does anybody know the difference? Okay, so Frank is a therapy dog, which means that he can go into certain organizations as a therapy dog and as approved. So we are also a member of Love on a Leash, but our main organization is through Positive Teams. And so therapy dogs are usually in-home pets. He is my dog. He comes home with me every day and provides therapy not only to me, but those where the organizations that we go into. So for example, Frank and I go into Rady Children's Hospital and we meet with the kiddos at Rady's, and we go to skilled nursing facilities and other areas within San Diego and North County. Now, a service dog, that is the top of the top. Frank is not a service dog. Service dogs are trained to help individuals with specific needs of their daily life. They can identify an impending seizure or low blood sugar or other things that might hurt a patient or a person. And so they are trained to be with that individual. For example, if a patient is a quadriplegic, paraplegic, they can help them open doors, etc. That is the top of the line. That is not Frank. Service dogs can go anywhere. They can fly on a plane, they can go into buildings, and they also have a vest that will say service dog if they are an approved service dog. And then you have an emotional support animal. And an emotional support animal, many of you may have heard of this, many of you may have seen it, but basically it provides companionship and comfort. So if someone is experiencing emotional issues, mental health issues, an emotional support dog might be beneficial for those individuals. Frank is a facility dog, so he is both a therapy and a facility dog. And so Frank went through the training to become a therapy dog, which is very basic, but the facility dog is the next level up. So Frank is trained to come to campus with me and meet with people and provide comfort. I am also a registered dietitian on campus. I meet with clients who have disordered eating and eating disorders in the athletics department. And so Frank will come and hang out with me when I have clients who might be having just a stressful day. And I have seen it. We were in a meeting last week, and there was a woman who was expressing some concerns she was having with her students, and she started to cry. And Frank started pulling at his leash and knew he wanted to go over and just sit with that lady. And it was just so lovely to see his training come to fruition. So Frank will have a vest. He is official. We passed our facility dog test this past weekend. Woo, woo! Very excited and very proud to say that. So why a campus facility dog? Why do we want this on campus? Well, to give you some context and some background, I also volunteer at Rady Children's before I had Frank, and I was mostly on the oncology unit with another canine team. And I saw the benefits of having a dog come and visit every day. And it's not only for the kiddos in the hospital, it's for the patients, the families, it's for their siblings, it's for the nurses and the doctors and the staff at the hospital. And just the things that I have seen make a world of difference. So this is not only for Frank and for all of you, but it's for me too, because I have really seen the true benefits. And so I included a few things here and why we wanted to bring Frank to campus. And we have wonderful services on this campus. You all provide wonderful, amazing services. But we didn't have a dog. And so that was just one more thing to add to the services, not only for students, but for faculty, staff, and administrators. And so Frank is for you. He is not just here for the students. And in a minute, I'll be sharing all of the wonderful things that we do on campus and where we go, at least for the next 2 weeks, because come May 9th, bye, I'm off. All right, so what else? So the other reason that when I was doing the research to find out why it was so important to have a dog on a campus, not many campuses in this country have facility dogs. And I wanted to look deeper and see what those campuses offered and how they were able to get a facility dog on campus. So the research is very clear that having an animal, and in this case a dog, can provide social interaction, help to combat loneliness. I've had so many students come up and say, oh, I miss my dog so much, or my dog just recently passed away, and this is so lovely, I get to hug a dog. I had a student come into one of our open hours a couple weeks ago, and she said that her professor told her that we were offering Frank services to come and visit the facility dog. She said, I'm having a really tough time because my uncle just passed away and we're having his celebration of life. And his name was Frank. And it was just meant to be. And she started crying, and she hugged him for almost a half an hour. And it was just really lovely. Providing support. The research in academic settings can show that there's more productivity, so more production, not only from our students, but our staff. I get more done with him by my side than if he was not there. Increased trust levels between colleagues. Whenever I walk into a department, people are coming out of the woodwork. They're coming out of the cubicles and they're hanging out, and maybe they wouldn't have talked to each other otherwise because it's just so easy to send an email or a text, but here we are, and we're hanging out with Frank. Effective collaboration, more pleasant and social environment. Wouldn't you agree that this makes it a little bit more happy? Yeah. All right, so who am I? Why am I up here? What do I do on this campus? So I am a lecturer in the kinesiology department. I have been on this campus at Cal State San Marcos since 2012, so almost 13 years. And I originally was at San Diego State, so I've been in the CSU system for what seems like forever. And I teach exclusively in the kinesiology department. I also teach Pilates and mindfulness. And Frank has been a very impactful component to our mindfulness practices. And my students just say that it brightens their day every time they see him. I'm also a registered dietitian for the Cougar Athletics. So I do provide services down in the Clark. And Frank and I, this is our home. So we have our home with the Center for Contemplative Practices. And really, we thought that was the best fit because the Center for Contemplative Practices, if you're not familiar with it, offers mindful experiences, whether it is a 20-minute or a 45-minute Zoom session, an in-person mindfulness session. We have taken part in research already, doing a pilot to see how mindfulness with a dog could be beneficial. So there's a lot of really wonderful opportunities with the Center for Contemplative Practices. I'm also a champion for the Mobile Wellness Organization or Mobile Wellness Initiatives, and that's a collaboration between nursing and public health departments. And as a champion, I represent our kinesiology department. So we go out on visits on campus. We do other things that will impact those presentations or those weekly opportunities for students to come and learn about wellness and mental health. I'm also a faculty advisor for the powerlifting club sport. So I just do a couple of things on campus, and then I have Frank. So I have a lot of spare time, as you can see. But it's really fun, and I encourage you to come visit us. So where we will go and what we will do. So if you see us on campus, Frank will have his vest or he'll have a bandana on, signifying that he is appropriate and approved to be on campus. So we have weekly opportunities at the Veterans Center, and I'll show you on the next slide our times if you'd like to take a picture and come visit us. We also offer an hour through the Center for Contemplative Practices. We have most recently partnered with the Cougar Care Network CART. So every Wednesday from 1:30 to 2:30, we are going out with Cougar Care Network, and everybody just loves Frank. They walk, they stop, they hang out with Frank. I have little cards for them. And the best thing about it is we walk on campus now, and people will walk by. They don't know who I am, but it doesn't matter who I am. It's, oh my gosh, there's Frank, or oh, is that Frank? So he's becoming really well known, which is very exciting. We will also be in the athletics department. He will come with me to my mindfulness classes and then any of the mobile wellness initiatives that we do on and off campus as well. Now for the legal stuff. So why and how is he here? Again, he is trained. He has gone through all of the necessary training and examinations to be here, so he's just like one of our students. He has passed. He's now part of our faculty, if you will. And he has liability insurance. So we are connected with Positive Teams, in addition to Love on a Leash. So Positive Teams is an organization in San Diego that trains service dogs, facility dogs, and therapy dogs. And we have done our training all through our educational experience with Positive Teams. And so he will be under the liability, so he even has insurance, which is kind of cool. And of course, we'll be doing ongoing training, just like any continuing education would require. So Frank has an Instagram page, so if you would like to scan the QR code, please follow Frank. You can follow all of his pup ventures and places that we're going, things that we have done. And these are all of the places that we will be on campus for the next couple of weeks. So today at the Veterans Center from 12 to 1, they almost always do Chow on Deck. If you've never heard of Chow on Deck, it's pretty cool. And so any student, faculty, staff can go and come and visit Frank. They always have educational opportunities, but there's also free food. Don't tell him I told you that. So when 300 of you show up today, it's not me. You didn't hear it from me. But this QR code will get you to his Instagram page, so please go ahead and follow Frank. And of course, I need to give some special thank yous. Audrey, and Regina, of course. Absolutely. Can you just raise your hands? I know Audrey's right there. Where's Regina? There you are. Yes. So I took this proposal to them last year, probably January, February, I would imagine, and they, I think they came in with the, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, and they left with, is she kidding? So they worked tirelessly, and I think, Audrey, you really put your heart and soul into this and allowed for this to happen. So not only is this opportunity something that you need to thank Audrey and Regina for, but there's other folks that were involved. So Dr. Ranjita Basu and Paul Stewart, they are also with the Center for Contemplative Practices, and Paul Stewart is a professor in the kinesiology department. Joshua Loop at the Veterans Center, Todd Snedden and Murad Shah in athletics, and Matthew Mincy in the nursing department. But the ultimate approval came from Provost Chemnitz. So working our way through the system, figuring out what we had to do, looking at what other universities did, everyone, my apologies, I'm good. Everyone did their due diligence, and thank you so much. And really helped get this program available, but Provost Chemnitz was the final approval, and so he's very excited. You can see there we are a couple of weeks ago. Frank has his little tie on there, as he does today. He had to dress up for you. And so I want to thank you all for letting us come and talk to you today. I think I'd like to take Frank through a couple of tricks, but I welcome any questions that you might have. Frank, sit. Oh, that's probably a really good answer question to focus on. So, good boy. So Frank is a golden doodle, and he's 2.5. Yeah, so he's very young. And the reason we have a golden doodle is really, we can blame my husband, because my husband has a lot of really bad allergies. And I had my heart set on a golden retriever. I wanted an English cream golden retriever, and Frank is 10% golden retriever. So I got 10% of my golden. Frank, come here. Amazon. I know, it's no secret. They have bow ties. They have all kinds of fun things for dogs. Sit. So this is my favorite trick for Frank. Frank, stretch. Stretch. He does downward dog, so he does yoga. What else? What else can I answer about Frank? Frank, sit. Sit. How did we do, buddy? Sit. Did we do good? How did he get his name? He actually came named. So I'm checking my time here. I want to be respectful of time. Are we okay? Okay. So the story of Frank is once all the approvals happened, I didn't even have the dog yet, because I needed the approvals to go through before I could get the dog. And which makes sense, but it was very stressful. So Positive Teams graciously offered me a yellow Labrador named Coco. And she was beautiful and amazing and lovely, but my husband said, we can't. So I cried for days, of course. I hid it very well. I didn't want to make him feel bad. But I had to search for a more hypoallergenic dog. And that is one thing that is good about Frank. He is considered a hypoallergenic dog because he's a doodle. Really, truly, the definition of hypoallergenic is 0 allergies, so we can't officially say that. But he doesn't shed. He has hair, not fur. He has to get groomed, which he hates, but that's okay. And so, long story short, I needed to find a doodle, and everything that I found was a puppy. And puppies are amazing. Puppies are wonderful. But my last 2 dogs, I thought that I could train into a therapy dog or a facility dog, and it just wasn't in their, it wasn't in their heart. And it broke my heart. So I knew that I needed to do this, and I had to find a dog that was at least 1.5 years, 2 years old, that was going to fit with our needs. So I put out a Facebook blast. I mean, what else would you do, right? So I put out a Facebook blast, and I hit breeders, and I was asking friends and family. I lived in Michigan, so I have people on the East Coast and West Coast. And I was connected with a breeder in Idaho, and she said, I think I have a dog for you. He's about 1.5 years, and he was given to a family. The family gave him back. They couldn't take care of him. It was work issues. Dad worked out of state. And she said, so we were going to take him in as our own, but I think he would be really good for your needs. So we did a lot of FaceTime. We did a lot of meetings. I had our dog trainer through Positive Teams take a look and make sure that even through video, he was appropriate. And then Frank got an escort from Idaho down to San Diego. And we got him, and he was in training the next week, and he's just been amazing. He's just really good. So long story to your answer, I did not name him. He came named. But our previous dog, who we lost in October, his name was Fred. So it took us a minute to get away from Fred to Frank. But yes, so Frank, come. Any other questions? Well, I thank you so much for having us today. I know I'm a little short, but that's okay. Getting out of a meeting early is never a bad thing, right? So thank you again. I hope that you come visit Frank. I have brought little cards. I don't have 300 of them, but I have little cards that I'll leave on the table in the back if you're interested. And please come visit us at the different areas on campus that we will be. We're excited to be here, and thank you for welcoming us. Thanks.
Okay, I'm going to invite Leon right on back up to do some awards. First, we have our MPP to Staff Award.
Thank you. Well, I'm back again. This is one of the big privileges of my role. I get to present awards out to very, very deserving staff members. So at our spring division meeting, we present two of our colleagues with the MPP to Staff Award. This award provides FAS managers the opportunity to publicly recognize staff members for outstanding performance. Nominations are based on contributions toward achieving goals and outstanding quality work. Please join me in recognizing this year's award winners and honoring their remarkable contributions. Our first MPP to Staff Award goes to Courtney Timoni. Courtney has always been an outstanding team player, but this year she demonstrated an extraordinary level of leadership and dedication during a particularly critical time. When the key team member went on a maternity leave right as we were tackling a high-profile, fast-paced project, Courtney didn't just step up, she took the initiative to ensure our success. Despite the project falling outside of her typical scope of work, she proactively offered her support, working with remarkable diligence and precision to help us meet our deadline. She recognized the significance of this initiative and approached her contributions with meticulous attention to detail and always considering the broader implications at the individual, department, and campus-wide levels. Courtney consistently delivers exceptional work, and this project was yet another testament to her commitment, adaptability, and impact. Her dedication and drive make her an invaluable asset to our team and the entire campus community. Erica will be, you're going to be accepting the award?
Yeah. Courtney is not feeling well today, so I'm accepting the award on her behalf.
Thank you, Erica. Oh, that means I have to jump down here. How about this? Okay. Our second MPP to Staff Award goes to Kristen Erickson. Kristen, here's Kristen's nomination. Kristen is a go-to person. She consistently provides reliable information and work product. She is efficient and responds promptly and is always eager to help. Several times she has taken the initiative to fully research, troubleshoot, and seek guidance on challenging projects. I never need to prompt her for monthly updates. I always know she will communicate information timely and use good judgment. While I may be an internal customer, I know Kristen provides exceptional service to our campus community members as well as external agencies. She makes my job easier, and I feel very fortunate to have such a dependable colleague. Kristen. Oh. Chief Flores will be accepting the award for Kristen. Thank you, Chief. I don't know if I could have gotten back up again if I
If I may. So Kristen's not able to be here today, but just so you all know, she's our records person, and her job and duties are to send all our stats to DOJ And we have stop data that we have to ensure clear crime logs are correct. And she maintains all that by herself, so all the stats. So she does an excellent job. And she assists with all the audits that California Department of Justice comes out and audits us as well. So thank you. I'll be sure to present this to her.
Thank you, Chief. And now it's my privilege to present the Vice President's Award. The Vice President's Award is given to a department, a team, or a person who has demonstrated exemplary service, outstanding teamwork, or an above and beyond achievement. This year's winner of the VP Award is the CSU Bi-Core team. You know, please see the extensive list of the folks that were involved in this implementation and rollout on the slide above me. I want to invite this group up to the front to receive their award. The CSU Bi-Core team dedicated the past 10 months to the new CSU Bi procure-to-pay software implementation, known to many as P2P. San Marcos was part of the second wave of campuses to adopt P2P. Despite some of the initial bugs getting resolved in the first wave, the team encountered numerous challenges and required collaboration and strategic thinking to overcome. Throughout this initiative, the core team worked closely with the Chancellor's Office, consultants, other administrators, and staff to ensure the new system met campus needs. They traveled to other campuses multiple times and conducted weeks of intensive system testing while all managing their regular duties. As the go-live date approached, the core team organized numerous training sessions for the campus community and even trained each other on the system. Post-go-live, they continued to offer office hours and additional training for several months to support the campus during the transition. Now nearly 6 months since its launch, CSU Bi procure-to-pay system has been a resounding success. I also want to include a special shout out to some honorable mentions: IITS, HR, Facilities, the CSUSM Corporation, Accounting and Distribution Services, SHS, and Risk Management. So with that, thank you all. Who has the award? We all coming up on stage? Big group. Oh, I get to hold it?
Yes, and then we'll take a picture.
Wow. Let everybody. Okay, who wants to hold the award? I don't want to hold it. Okay.
Are we short enough?
Are we short enough? How's that? Thank you. Thank you very much, group. And with that, that is the conclusion of the awards. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we are going to do some door prizes. So, Amber, my buddy, I'm going to come down here because this is kind of scary up here. Okay. Okay. We have 5 different gifts that Amber purchased from the bookstore. So I'm going to pull out some tickets. Please come on up if that's yours, okay? Okay, the first one, 835421. Yay! Come on up. You get first pick. Okay. Okay. All right, next one is 835420. I got to mix these up a little. Yay! Okay, 835301. Nobody for 301? Okay.
Oh, we found it. We found it.
Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yay. Okay, 2 more. 835411. Yay! Okay. All right, last one. 835309. Is it you? You? Oh, yay! Good job. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for being here and have a great day.